Shall we begin?
Hey everybody, Anamon Clendora here, and welcome back to the month of Anime Season 4, Episode 10, Number 5. God, it's getting so hard to keep track of this. And this one is actually a tie, because I could not decide which one I hated more. I hate them both for similar reasons, and I could not separate them. One is Takeda from Deers, and the other is the King of the Synapse from Heaven's Lost Property. I'll start with the King of the Synapse. He uses the angeloids, beings who have feelings, emotions, they have thoughts of their own, personalities. He treats them like they are trash, like they're property. They are slaves, in his opinion. And he will not hesitate to abuse them, rip off their wings, torture them, make them wish for death, only to not give it to them and just have them be tortured for years. For years later. Like, he's horrible. He's the main villain throughout the series. And then there's Takeda in Deers. And now in Deers, throughout the whole series, everyone keeps telling him that these women, that these robots aren't actually people. That you buy them. These are robots, androids that you buy. You buy them, you own them, they are your property. Despite the fact that each of them have personalities. They all have personalities. They have personalities, they have thoughts, and he sees this, and he's like, no, they're not my property. Like, these are not my property. They are their own people. I am not some kind of master. They are not slaves. They are their own people. They don't deserve to be enslaved. They're not just objects. They're people like you and me. And he's fighting for this throughout the whole series. And then at the very end, he's like, fuck it. Oh, fuck it. Go ahead. These girls are my slaves. They're my bitches. I don't care. I'm giving in to peer pressure. Like, I can't decide which one I hate more. I really can't. Now, on the one hand, King of the Synapse, he clearly does a lot more horrible things. But, on the other hand, Takeda, that's a guy whose opinion I really believed. He keeps talking about how, like, he's not going to make a master-slave contract with these androids. He's not gonna do it because they are their own people. They are people the same as you and me. They don't have to be slaves. They shouldn't have to be slaves. They should be allowed to be their own people. He believes this throughout the majority of the series, and I'm right there with him, like, yeah, fight for it. And I continue to root for him, like, come on, you can do it. You could change the way people think in this town. And in the end, he just gives up. He gives up and is like, okay, I'm just gonna join everybody else and be like, yeah, slavery is fine. Slavery is good. I really hate both of these characters, and I cannot decide for the life of me which one I hate more, because while yes, one does more and more horrible things, the other one gets you to trust him. You will end up trusting Takeda, trusting he'll make the right choice, only for him to essentially stab you in the back at the very end and be like, no, slavery is a good thing. No! Like, that to me hurts a lot. Like, I was following Takeda throughout the series, and then to find out that that's the decision he comes to, it really hits me. It feels like a punch to the gut because I followed this guy throughout the series and he just turns around and does what everyone else is doing. That's just horrible. You trust someone, trust they'll make the right decision, and then they betray that trust. That hurts a lot. And that is honestly where this whole tie comes from. I can't, because like the pain and anger I felt towards Takeda when he made that decision versus just the anger that I feel towards the King of the Synapse for everything he's done. Now, it's overwhelming anger for the King of the Synapse, but it's pain and anger I feel towards Takeda. And so I can't decide which is worse. My overwhelming anger and hatred for the King of the Synapse, or my pain and anger for Takeda. I really can't decide which one is worse because they both end up having the exact same opinion by the end. That slavery is a good thing. Newsflash! It's not! I don't know why, but I've seen quite a few animes that do stuff like this. Like, I've seen a few animes that have been like this. It's like, is there just a fraction of Japan? Is there just a fraction of Japan that thinks that this is okay, that slavery is fine? Is there like a fraction of Japan where these specific animes are getting made that think that it's okay? Because this is just honestly disturbing to me, to think that these teams that made these are okay with this. Now, to be fair, in Heaven's Lost Property, Tomoki is fighting for the freedom of the Synapse, fighting for the freedom of the Angeloids against the King of the Synapse, who wants to keep slavery. So, like, he's fighting to stop slavery. So that's nice. That's nice. But in Deers, you gotta wonder, what was the process going into making this? Like, okay, he's fighting to free the slaves, and then by the end he's like, no, slavery is good. What exactly happened in these meetings where they decided what was going to happen? Because to my knowledge, the manga never went anywhere. To my knowledge, the manga never went anywhere. Now, I've never read the manga, but I've heard it never went anywhere. That it never got a proper ending. It just kind of stopped. So, I'm just wondering, what was the thought process going into this? I'd be very interested to find out exactly why they made this decision. Because this makes no sense. But I hate both characters. I really do. I cannot decide between the two of them. The pain and anger I feel between the two of them is just... it's neck and neck. It's so difficult to choose between them. But that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.